I went and saw How to Train Your Dragon. Now, I did not watch the cartoon animated series, any of that beforehand, never into it, but my daughter wanted to go see it. So I was like, I'll go see this with you. And you know what? This was another one of those enjoyable movies. Uh, it reminds me of many movies I've seen in the past where I go see the movie, I don't think I'm gonna enjoy it, and the whole time I'm like, "Yo, okay, I like this. I like it. The acting was good. The special effects were good. They weren't. It wasn't like the most groundbreaking special effects you've ever seen, but it was top quality special effects. The way they used the special effects, the way the actors interacted with their environments when you knew, okay, there's some, CGI going on. I was like, this is done well. It's done very well. The plot was enjoyable. This movies like this is where I realize if only if only more movie studios understood. They know, I believe they know, but if only more of them understood, if we just give fans a good plot without being preachy, just make it good. They will repay us in kind. This Hollywood has the potential for a money printing factory. And why they don't do it is beyond me. I wanted to check out the Rotten Tomatoes score and the audience score. So Rotten Tomatoes, the tomato meter is 77% and the audience score is 98%. I always say, whatever the critics say is typically the opposite is true of movies lately. This is mind blowing because I think there is a certain elite group of people that are actors, trained actors. They're come from theater, and the way they judge movies is not going to be the way the average person looks at and judges a movie. It's just not going to be the same way. The average person is going to watch a movie and say to themselves, I enjoyed this. I went through this movie and I was like, yo, okay, I like it. So the audience score is typically more in line with the truth. And I would say, as of right now, 98%, I'm not surprised. So because this wasn't something that I really kept up with, I asked my daughter when the movie was over, I said, how closely did this mirror the cartoon? And she was like, oh, Dad, it was really close, really close. And I was like, okay, I'm sure it wasn't perfect. I'll probably watch the cartoon just to see how close the movie was. But let's look at what some of the audience had to say about this movie. I don't know why it's giving me a problem going to, there we go. Loved everything about it. I want to get to one of the bad reviews and see why it got a bad review and see if I agree. How to Train Your Dragon was a good movie. Action and story were entertaining. I agree with that. It was entertaining, like from the onset. From the onset all the way through, it was very entertaining. Entire movie was very entertaining. Story of developing trust and friendships. Very relatable characters. That great point. Characters were very relatable. Like I said, nothing was extremely preachy. You knew if you go to see this movie, the objective of this movie is purely to entertain you. I give that a thumbs up. I'm all about that. So here's the one, a bad review. I kind of wanted to see, what they had to say. This movie was very bland, whereas the original animated one had a spark behind the story that drew one in to continue watching. This version felt very bland, nearly walked out of the theater 10 minutes into the movie, but stayed in the hopes that the movie would get better. Reviews like this, I have questions about. 10 minutes into a movie, there's a lot of movies that I understand start slow. I tend to not necessarily judge a movie at least off of the first 10 or 15 minutes because who knows what's going on, what build up they're giving you. So I don't think that's kind of it's harsh, but we all have our opinions. The line delivery was off majority of the time. That I wholeheartedly disagree with. I do not agree with that at all. Sometimes the actors would deliver a line perfectly, and then the next second it's back to monotone. Now, see, I don't know if this is just, and I could be wrong, but I've said this before. I think sometimes we get into a hypercritical mode. There's nothing wrong with criticism, but like if you go into something with the express thought that I am going to find whatever I can, and I think some people do that. I don't think there was a necessity to do that during this movie because it was just entertaining. And let's just completely go 180 on Astrid's character. Why not let's take away her tenacity to become a dragon killer and just make her in goal to become chief? I guess this is due to me not really watching the cartoon. I have to do that. And he says, like, bro, you created the original character. How do you mess up her character for this? And my daughter, she watched it and she disagrees. She, the original animated movie was part of her childhood, and she said no, this was actually a very good, very well done. So, what do I know? As long as a longtime fan of How to Train Your Dragon, I was so relieved this live action remake had true to the original held true to the original movie. Man, the casting was brilliant and the CGI was top notch. Exactly what I said. My biggest worries was the dragons and the music scores will be changed, but everything was perfect. Amazing movie, great for the whole family, and that's another thing. And it's rare today in Hollywood because for some reason I think some Hollywood types feel this need to add things into movies to make the movies more edgy, especially when it's a children's movie. Like, there's no need for this. Just make the children's movie a movie that families can take, everybody to go see. And this is one of those. Trying to find some longer reviews. Okay, here's one. Exactly how I remembered it. I love when a movie sticks to the original script. Having the character voices spot on or at least close to the original characters' voices was also a big plus. I got to show my kids a movie that I love watching when I was younger, and they enjoyed it just as much as I did. Thank you for the great and memorable experience. Yeah, so this kind of it kind of makes me wonder about that one review that said it was, had all the criticisms about it not being like the original, because I don't know the original, but my daughter, who, she could not wait to see this movie. And she was like, yeah, this was spot on. She was like, there was, a few changes here and there, but for the most part, they got this thing right. So I don't know. Maybe that reviewer just had a bad day, just didn't like it at all. Overall, it was really good. But some of the line changes took away from the experience compared to the animated version. Worth the watch to be able to see different takes and more personalities from side characters that sort of line up with the TV show and other movies. Okay. It's looking like the critiques are pretty fair. I mean, like I said, other than that one critique, like I said, bad day maybe uh, taken back by the beginning and just didn't give it a chance after that. Who knows? But I enjoyed this movie. I thought it was good. If you're looking for some enjoyment from Hollywood, I'm telling you, this is one of those movies that you can go see. And I'm almost willing to guarantee you that at the end, you're gonna say to yourself, okay, this was an enjoyable experience. Good movie.